So I wanted to make this video earlier, but because of school, I don't have a little thing called time. So yes, I know I'm late on this topic, but I'm still gonna make a video on it anyways. So, but now everyone knows about the group that has been causing people to talk so much about them, and that is Z Girls and Z Boys. And I thought I would just hop on here and just give my 2 cents about what I think about both groups. Before I start, yes, here it is. A disclaimer, these are just my opinions. You do not have to agree with my opinions, but just like how I will respect your opinions, I wish you would do the same for mine. And if you are going to comment your opinion, which I would love for you guys to do so, please do it in a way that is respectful, and that's all I ask for. So on to the video. Anyways, I want to start off with the company. So back in January, I believe, a company/project came into light called the Z-Pop Dream, where they take boys and girls from different parts of Asia and train them to become what they call the next leaders in Z-Pop, which garnered some attention, but that attention increased when they announced that they would debut in Korea, which had a lot of people either cheering on for the group or skeptical about the group. Z-Pop Dream then later on announced their group lineup, which includes 6 confirmed members in both groups, with 1 hidden male and female member that will be revealed later on. This caused more discussion because at first glance, there were no Korean members to be found, causing some people to say that the group cannot call themselves a K-pop group without a Korean member. Once the final members were revealed, both turned out to be Japanese members. This caused even more debate on whether or not the group should be considered a K-pop group. It also caused a discussion on what allows a group to call themselves a K-pop group. Some saying that they can't call themselves a K-pop group because none of the members are Korean. This argument, however, was easily shut down because if you were to apply that definition to other groups, that would mean idols such as Lisa, Bam Bam, Win, Soren, Victoria, Yuta, Momo, Shui, and so forth. Those idols would not be considered K-pop idols, which on its own is a ridiculous argument to have. While others have said as long as the group promotes and sings in Korean, they are a K-pop group, which is ultimately the definition, quote-unquote definition, I also agree with. But then again, as far as I know, the company never said the group was a K-pop group. They considered that both groups would be a Z-pop group, and haven't mentioned anything about K-pop other than the fact that they took inspiration on how K-pop groups are trained and ran by companies and used that formula for their groups. As I was editing the video and pulling comments of people talking about what they thought about the group from various sides, there were 2 comments that drew in my attention. One talking about the parent company and another one talking about the opinion of the group. So this comment was talking about the parent company and how they felt it was strange that the parent company talks a lot about cryptocurrency and doesn't appear to have past management experience when it comes to managing groups. So I decided to look into the company's Instagram myself to see why some people have been citing the company, why some people have been suspicious about the parent company. So when I was looking at the parent company's Instagram page, a lot of it talks about the stakes in the entertainment world, K-pop making its way into Western media, and follows up by saying how you can collect tokens with the provided link on their Instagram page and a lot of their Instagram posts. So I decided to go to the site myself to see what it was talking about on the site. And from my initial thoughts about the site is that I thought that it was pretty interesting that they wanted to expand the Z-pop market and to make different groups starting in Asia and then expand to different countries outside of Asia. However, the amount of times they talked about the $46 billion market did rub me the wrong way because they did really emphasize on $46 billion in the market. And on the site itself, it has a little email slot where you can actually sign up to buy tokens and to know when tokens go on sale. On the site, they also talked about their background and what their project is about, which reads as follows. The Z-pop team now seeks to replicate the success of K-pop and create global music stars from multiple countries by bringing together the K-pop professionals and voting power of fans. The project's business model has star creation business and global online monetization platform. On one side, the proceeds from the ITO will be used to accelerate creating infrastructure for this star creation business, and on the other hand, it will create global online monetization platform, which will tokenize the revenue opportunities generated by the star creation business, including concert tickets, merchandise, online content, and admission to exclusive events. They also then followed up by showing the scheme of the token turnover in the Z-pop coin ecosystem and their token sales as well. So obviously, based off this site, this is the highly business aspect of the company, which makes it sound like one big investment, which again is not new in this whole entertainment realm. Initially, all your favorite groups you see and you stand are all investments made by multiple companies in order to make money, to make their money back, or to see future profit. Like Prince Mac, a former member of WJC, said in an interview with SBS Australia, when asked if there was one thing from your old life, your pre-K-pop life, that you would want back, what would it be? And Prince Mac responded by saying, money, and then later stating, the company invests a lot of money into you, and in the end you're left with nothing. But once it gets better, people get paid and extra money, which also hence why in a lot of articles you do hear about idols not being paid initially off the bat, and only getting paid later on down in their careers. And this is also because of the fact that they also have to pay back the debt to their company. But I'm going to stop here with this topic because I don't want to get too off topic, and so I'm going to move on to the second comment that sparked my attention. I saw other comments like this from other users who felt as if the company was trying to milk the concept of not having any Korean members and use this as a marketing ploy. I bring this up because it reminded me now of the disbanded group Chocolate, who debuted in 2011. Now, Chocolate was a girl group that debuted in 2011 with the single Syndrome, whose group concept heavily focused on being the first mixed-race K-pop group. Although not all the members of the group turned out to be mixed like intentionally planned, but after the group's quiet disbandment in 2017, Melanie said in a K-Populist interview, when asked if the mixed-race concept was accidental or planned, she stated, "It was completely planned. That was our former company boss's first intent. He wanted everybody to be half American, half Korean, half Chinese, half Japanese. He didn't really care. He just wanted an all biracial group, something that's never been done before, that would cause a lot of hype. In the end, it didn't turn out as all biracial, but that's how he wanted it to turn out to be." Which summed up to mean that the biracial aspect of the group was meant to just be one big marketing ploy, which I've seen very few comments, because not that many people know about Chocolate, but I did see some comments comparing Chocolate's concept to Z-Pop Dream, and wondering if the company is only doing this non-Korean group aspect as a marketing ploy to create hype and gain attention, hoping it pans out well in the end. So the next thing I want to talk about is the double standard of EXP versus Z-Boys and Z-Girls. This was also an argument I saw everywhere on Twitter that were brought up, that people felt that there was indeed a double standard between EXP and Z-Boys and Z-Girls. Well, first off, in the case for some people who do not know who EXP Edition are, they are a group that started back in 2014 as an academic assignment by Bora Kim, which she questioned, do you have to be Korean to be a K-pop artist? She then set out to finding non-Korean members and then settled on a final 6-member lineup, which included Hunter, Sim, I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, please forgive me, David, Koki, Frankie, and Tarion. From then, they started learning Korean from Bora Kim herself, attended dance practice, and had a song written by a friend of Bora's. And then, back in the fall of 2015, they debuted with Love Wrong, which, of course, didn't do so well at all. In fact, even made more controversy when they finally debuted. And by looking at the video, there's a huge amount of dislikes, and even before the group debuted, there were so many people and countless videos on people basically saying that the group is not a K-pop group, they should never debut, and this overall disapproval of the group. Once the academic assignment ended, David and Tarion called it quits, while the remaining 4 members expressed their wish to continue and ultimately moved to Korea in 2016 and made their Korean debut in 2017. Now, what does this have to do with Z-Girls and Z-Boys? Well, many felt that because none of the members are Korean like EXP Edition, that they are basically doing the same exact thing, except Z-Girls and Z-Boys are getting a pass because none of them are white. I've seen some people say that Z-Girls and Z-Boys are all Asian descent, and that is why they're getting a pass. I've seen the argument of Z-Girls in particular have the goal of uniting Asian women and expanding the market, whereas EXP Edition are just a bunch of white guys put together into a group. I'm going to play devil's advocate here for a second and say that if we took everything out of the equation, we took the whole Z-pop concept out of the equation, the fact that they're under a Korean company out of the equation, that Z-pop, Z-boys and Z-girls, are of Asian descent. We took that all away and we got down to nitty-gritty of both groups. I can see the argument where people are making that EXP edition and Z-boys and Z-girls are somewhat the same because none of the groups have Korean members. Both groups are just going into the Korean market and hoping for success. However, there is one quote that sums up kind of how I feel when it comes to the comparison between EXP edition and Z-boys and Z-girls that was made by Jeff Benjamin, who is a journalist in New York, who many of you have probably heard that name at some point while being a K-pop stan. And he said in a BBC interview that EXP edition can recreate the sound, the look, the vibe of K-pop acts, but they can't recreate the literal blood, sweat, and tears to go into becoming a K-pop star. And that is what I think makes them lack the ability to call themselves a K-pop group. Whereas the boys and Z-girls were trained eventually to promote within the Korean market. But I would like to know what you guys think about the comparison between the groups. Do you think that the groups are similar? Do you think that Z-boys and Z-girls are just getting a pass because they have Asian descent? Or do you think, or there's anything else you think about both groups or the situation? But I now want to kind of move away from that and get to the part where probably most of you have been waiting for, the debut. Okay, so now moving on to the actual song. So I actually stayed up to listen to the song. I don't know why. I knew damn well I had school the next day, but I did anyways. But anyways, starting with the girls. In my honest opinion, I personally thought What You Waiting For was a good song as a debut. I thought it was catchy, it had a good beat, it showed off the vocal line, mainly Carlin, and I thought it was a really good song. The rap by Queen was also really good, and personally I thought that was one of the best parts of the song, and it really stood out. However, I did think the choreo wasn't that great in some parts. I thought it was a little bit repetitive, a little lackluster in just a few parts, but I don't think overall the choreo was that bad. My only negative thing I would really say about the song is that I thought it was a bit too repetitive, and it did not allow much spotlight on some of the members compared to others. And in terms of the music video, it looked like the company did not put much into the video as a whole, but overall I think the song was a really good song. I think it was a great debut, and I personally really did like the song. Now, moving on to the boys. I am going to be completely honest about the song. I did not like it one bit. I personally don't like calling a song terrible, but if I'm being completely honest, I thought the song was terrible. I did try to give it a fair chance. I listened to the song on multiple occasions, on multiple days, hoping it was just one of those songs that maybe I had to listen to a couple times for it to grow on me. But it easily became a skippable song that I eventually deleted off my phone. I've seen so many versions of the recycled bad boy concept, some done very well and some done at a basic level. But this song was just not it. The lyrics were the typical "we are the best, watch out for us" lyrics that were easily forgettable and also very repetitive. The choreo did have some redeeming qualities about it, but again, wasn't something too memorable. And I'll be honest, out of the 7 boys, about only maybe 2 or 3 of them really stuck out to me. Unlike the girls, where I felt like when I was watching a video, my eyes would just go to a different girl at any different point of the music video. And personally, that makes me sad because I really want to give Z-boys a chance, which is why I'm waiting on their next release and hoping the song is better than this one. And also, I have a feeling that the company is putting more into the boys than the girls, which also makes me sad because the girls had a really great song and the boys' song was just not it at all. But yeah, anyways, after both groups made their debut, many people, of course, were hyped and giving their support to both groups. Within the days, What You're Waiting For reached 3 million and on its way to 4 million, while No Limit is on its way to 2 million. But people did raise concerns about the debut being completely in English. Some people I saw mentioned that if the company wanted to have both groups promote music programs, that they couldn't due to the fact of the entire song being in English. Some people saying that even if they wanted to consider themselves a K-pop group, they couldn't because the song is completely in English. But if I'm gonna be honest about their debut song being in English, to be very honest, it did not surprise me one bit, which moves on to my next topic. While watching their videos leading up to the debut, it easily became noticeable that both groups do not have a strong grasp on the Korean language. Besides someone like Joanne, who knows enough Korean to hold a conversation, and some examples of the girls using Korean here and there, but overall in both groups, not the best grasp on the language, which reminds me of people like Peniel from B2B and former Rania member Alex. I mention these two because Peniel has mentioned in one of his vlogs that he didn't have the best Korean out of the group, and Alex, who did not know Korean at all. Peniel has mentioned that although his Korean has improved over the years while being in Korea, when it comes to B2B's music, his Korean isn't the best when it comes to writing the lyrics, hence why most or some of his raps are completely in English. And Alex has stated when she first joined Rania back in 2015 that she didn't feel comfortable rapping and singing in Korean at the time because she didn't have a firm grasp on the language, and in her words, didn't want to just throw random Korean words out there. She wanted to take the time to learn the language and respectfully incorporate the language into her lyrics, which is understandable, and for those reasons, I don't fault Z-Boys and Z-Girls for not having a full Korean song, since it does take some people months and years to learn a new language. But I understand the argument that both groups could have just trained longer than 4 months until they knew the language to some degree. But at the same time, that would come at the cost of the company losing money if they were to hold back debuting both groups. I think the concept of the group is not a bad idea, but the group is ultimately going to struggle if they choose to promote further in Korea, since they'll now have to win over a Korean audience. And for some people, they may not be used to the idea, but they are excited to see this group, and some others may not be excited to see this group. But since the company has not been using the term K-pop, but instead have been using the term Z-pop, I wonder if the company will promote the group in other countries other than Korea, or are they using the term Z-pop to avoid any confusion with K-pop so they don't get as criticized since they're not using the K-pop name when speaking on the group or using them as further promotions. And if you were to ask me, based off everything that's happened so far with the groups, what I've seen from both groups, and if I was to pick out of the two, who do I think could make it further in their careers? To be very honest, I would say ultimately the girls, based off the song. And personally, I think the girls are much more marketable and have a better chance than the boys. I do think the boys need a lot more work going further into promotions, better songs. But in terms of the company, I hope that the company isn't focusing on just one group doing better than the other, and at least try to treat both groups equally. But then again, we've seen that concept multiple times where one group gets a better treatment, preferably male, in the industry. So I would actually I'm interested to see how the group gets treated and how the group carries on with promotions further on within the year and in their careers. But anyways, thank you so much for watching and making it to this point in the video. I really do appreciate that so much. Please leave a like, subscribe for more videos, and hopefully I'll be able to post more frequently if school will allow me to. I would also like to know what you guys think about the situation of Z-Boys and Z-Girls, any opinions you may have based off maybe topics I've covered or anything else you want to elaborate on. I hope you enjoy this video. And just one more thing I wanted to say is that I'm gonna need Priyanka to get off my neck and let me breathe for a second. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and bye.